Now that we understand how to calculate the subnet mask given a network address and the number of hosts per subnet, let's go and create our first blueprint. This is going to be the structure of our blueprint. So we've got the stacker blueprints folder, followed by a custom blueprints folder with a underscore init.py and a vpc.py, and then outside a setup.py. So it's a pretty standard setup for a small or a very small Python application. And again, just the same way with Ruby, I know Python here and there, but I'm not an expert. So I guess there's gonna be quite a few things that the Python experts might not agree. But please take it easy, right? This is not like a tutorial on Python, how to become a Python expert. So this gets the job done, but I know there's a lot to improve. And if any of you have any suggestions that you can give to me to improve this code and to everyone, please do so. Okay, and here I'm just showing what's already there. So let me go back to my code, which is right here. So when you downloaded when you cloned the pipeline repo, you already got those files. So you've got your custom blueprints folder here with init and VPC and also setup. And our stacker blueprint is gonna be inside vpc.py. In the challenge, I just go over this code to explain what it does. And I'm just gonna go over it very quickly here, but basically these variables are the parameters for your stack. And these are the variables that you're gonna specify in the stacker config.yaml that we saw before. Let's see if I can find here quickly. Yeah, so right here, so you've got variables. So these are the variables that you're gonna specify. And it should be the same ones as this here. Yeah, so in this case, for this blueprint, we're gonna need 3 variables: namespace, so the VPC CIDR block, and also the host per subnet. Then I have 2 helper functions. One is called create VPC. The other one is called create subnets. And the way you organize this, it can be pretty much any way. I just decided to create these two functions. But if you want to name this function somewhat something else, or if you want to kind of merge them and have one big function to create a VPC, that's entirely up to you. But one thing that is very important is for you to have a create template function. And what this create template is going to do, this is actually for the blueprint that is going to return the template. And inside this function, you call your helper functions, let's say, to build up your template. And the way you build your template, so for every function that you declare, you're going to receive a reference to self. In this self, there is a self.template. And this is the final template. Yeah, so you see that here I am adding resource to the template, and down here I'm adding an output to the CloudFormation template. And here you can easily see that I'm adding a VPC. So this EC2, by the way, it's not here. Let me go back to the code. So this EC2 actually comes from Troposphere. Yeah, so we're using Troposphere here. And EC2.VPC, that's going to declare a VPC resource in our CloudFormation template. These are the attributes or the properties for the resource. So CIDR block, enable, DNS, etc., tags. And same thing here for the subnet. So I'm creating a subnet resource with availability zones, VPC ID, CIDR blocks, and tags. Now the most important thing here which is the code that we're going to have to develop, it's actually right here, which is to calculate the number of subnets and their addresses. And this is exactly what we're going to be doing right now. Let me go back to my code right here. So I'm actually going to leave this comment. Okay, so let's see what we can do here. Now, the first thing that we need to find out is the network mask. Okay, I'm gonna declare a variable called network mask. Sorry, I want net mask, make things easier, and I want to use a CIDR notation. Now the net mask, it's actually, I can get from here. So VPC underscore CIDR, that's gonna give me, 10.0.0.0/16. What I'm gonna do then is to get this variable, do a split by slash, and then I'm gonna get the second, right? Because the first one is gonna be 10.0.0, and the second item is gonna be 16. So I want the 16, so I'm gonna put 1 here. Just to make sure that I'm getting a integer, I'm gonna put this around int. Okay, so I have the net mask. Then the next step is to get the subnet mask. So subnet mask insider notation. And this is where we're gonna use our formula. So if you remember from previous video when we figure out the formula, we need the floor, right? So math.floor. I believe math has already been imported at the top. Yep, so it's right here. So math.floor of what? So 32 minus log. So we actually can do return the base to logarithm of x. So we're gonna put this here, and our x is gonna be the number of hosts, right? Once we have the subnet mask, we can figure out the subnet addresses. And this is gonna be a list. Now I'm gonna use a couple of functions here from the IP address library. So IP address dot IP underscore network, and inside this I'm gonna put the VPC CIDR dot subnet, and here it's gonna be new prefix equals subnet mask underscore CIDR. So let's see what's happening here. When I get the IP address, IP network, so I'm just saying that my network is the VPC CIDR, so 10.0.0.0/16. Then when I do .subnets, I want to split this network into subnets. When you split this network into subnets, what this function requires is the subnet mask. So I'm gonna pass here the subnet mask that I calculated in the line above. For example, if here is /16 and my subnet mask is /19, this is gonna return a list of all of the addresses for the subnet if we're using /19. So this variable subnet address is gonna be an array or a list of all of the addresses. That's why I said that we don't actually need any formula to find out the addresses. We just need the subnet mask, because this is returning to us all of the addresses. And that's pretty much all we need. We do need one more thing here though, which is, this is the code. Yeah, so you see that it says for each. Yeah, because we're probably gonna have more than one subnet. So we do need a for each. Now, this is the part that, some people might agree that, some people might say that the code is not, the prettiest, but anyway, let's just, get this one done so you know how this works, and then you can work on the code later. You see that we have a variable called AZs, and these are all of the AZs for the Virginia region, because we're gonna need that for when creating the VPC, when creating the subnets. So you see here availability zones, so we need to iterate and choose different availability zones, because we want to spread our subnets, as much as possible. We don't want to put our subnets in one AZ, because if that AZ goes down, things won't work, right? So we want to split across different availability zones. And this is just gonna be like a counter, and this is gonna be the length of the variable AZs. Now let's do for subnet addresses, or actually address, because I want one address in subnet addresses. Okay, I'm gonna add the resource. So t.add resource ec2.subnet. Now the resource name, I'm gonna do a little magic here. It's gonna be this. So I just want to make this, oops, like that. So it's going to be basically subnet and then a string, which is actually the iteration. So the first one is going to be subnet 1, subnet 2, subnet 3, and so on. The availability zone, it's going to be AZs, yes. Now I need a number, so the number is going to be I mod L, because then this way what we do is, regardless of the value of I, our counter here, it's always going to go around. It gets to the end, it comes back to the first one. So it's always going to go around, and we're going to make sure that we're not going to go past the last one, because otherwise we're going to get an error. VPC ID, that's the VPC ID, so we don't have to do anything here. And then for the CIDR block, that's gonna be subnet address, but I wanna, actually this needs to be a string. Make sure that this is a string. Okay. And then for the tags, so let's see, tags, the name of the tag. The first component is gonna be the namespace, so like team1, for example. And then here is going to be the block, which is same as this one. So let me copy this and replace. Yep, make sure I didn't forget anything. And of course that as we get to the end, we need to increment our counter. So I'm just going to do I+1. And we should be good to go, because then here we guarantee that we're gonna have more than one, like if we have subnet 1 all the time, then there's gonna be an error, because you can't have resources with the same name. That's why I'm iterating I. So we have subnet 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And I think that's everything we need. Let's just make sure that I didn't miss anything. So here we're calculating the addresses. For the VPC, I believe we don't have to do anything. This is pretty much the answer. Okay, so let's try to deploy this and see what happens. I didn't change anything in my CloudFormation template, so I don't need to deploy anything for the pipeline, but I do need to generate my deployment.zip file again. And this is exactly what we're going to be doing. Let me remove this. See if I can pull it up. Yeah, right here. Now I'm gonna need, let's see, stacker, templates, custom rules, and now the new folder that we want to include, which is stacker blueprints. Okay, we generated this, all right. And you know what? I think we might need to change. Yeah, you know what? There's more things to change here. Let me go back to the challenges to make sure. Because this is just the blueprint, but we still need to. Oh yeah, of course. There's a couple of things that we still need to do. Yep. Okay. Let's move on. So this is a summary of everything that we're seeing in the file. That's fine. And here we're gonna have to change. Yep. So we're gonna have to change stacker-config.yaml. Okay. So stacker.config.yaml. Let's see how that's gonna look like. Where is it? Right here. Yep. So this is gonna change, and the reason why is because our VPC is gonna be generated dynamically. So this means we're gonna have to split the VPC and the security group. So I don't know why I thought I was ready to deploy this. There's a lot of work to do here. Okay. All right. So namespace is gonna be team1. This is not gonna change. It's still execution. The VPC CIDR. It's still this, but I need another variable, which is hosts per subnet. And then I'm just going to use some YAML anchor here. Hosts per subnet. That's going to be, let's take a look here. Yeah, this is actually, yeah, this is the modification for stacker config. Create 2 stacks. Okay, so I'm gonna have to create 2 stacks. You know what? Let's take care of first one. Remove the VPC resource. Okay, since it will be defined, yeah, in its own template. create a parameter to get a VPC ID, and then rename to, all right, let's first rename this. So instead of VPC SG, we're gonna rename to SG only. Okay. Now I have, I was getting the VPC CIDR, but I actually don't need this anymore. What I do need is the VPC ID, and then the description is gonna be the ID of the VPC to create the SGN, okay? The SGN or SG4, or N, I don't know, doesn't matter. Just a description. Now type, it's gonna be a string. Good. Namespace is still the same. We do not need a VPC because it's gonna be generated dynamically. Security group's gonna stay. The outputs, yep, we don't need this anymore. And here we need to be careful. Instead of VPC, it needs to be the parameter. And the rest, I don't believe anything else is gonna change. Okay, I think this one is good. All right, let's go back. Now let's change stacker-config.yaml. So we're gonna need 2 stacks. Let me copy this. Stacker config.yaml. I'm gonna replace this stacks with this. So we see that the hosts per subnet, that's gonna be this number. I'm just gonna use this variable that I have here at the top. And then if I want to point at this variable, I'm just gonna do this. And same thing for the address of the network. I'm just gonna point at this. Cool. The team name. You know what? Let's define a team name. It's gonna be, oops. Team name. That's gonna be team1. And I'm just gonna point at this. And yeah, I mean, the main reason here I'm creating a variable for this is because I'm using 2 different locations. So if you're using information in 2 different locations, for sure create a variable for it. You don't want to hard code things, everywhere in your file. Right at the bottom is going to be the same thing. So team name. The VPC ID, that's actually a good one. Before we go to that, let me make sure I have everything in place. And yeah, so here you see that this is how we're actually gonna access our blueprint. So the first component in the name is custom blueprints, which is here my folder. And then we're gonna have a file which is VPC all lowercase, so vpc.py. Inside vpc.py we have a class which is VPC all uppercase, and that's the third component. So that's how a stacker is gonna find our blueprint. And if I have everything, let me see if we missed anything here. Yep, so number 4, how can you grab the VPC ID from the VPC stack, which is this one, and use in the SG stack? There is a stacker lookup, so you can take a look at this later, but the syntax is gonna be $, curly brackets, I'm sure you've seen this everywhere now, output, and then the name of the stack, which is VPC, colon, and then the VPC, the output name. So if you go back to SG, is, oh, sorry, not this one. It's actually our VPC class. There is an output. Yeah, you see here the output. So in the final template for the VPC, there's going to be an output section, and the first one is the first value or the first resource there is going to be VPC ID. So that's the name that we need to use in our stacker config, VPC ID. Good, so that's how you reference outputs from one stack to the other. Okay, cool. Let's save this. Just one more thing. All right, what is this? When declare. Okay, so here basically I'm just explaining how you can access your blueprint. And there is one more thing yet. So you need to go back to your pipeline CloudFormation template. In the deploy stage, you need to add the command pip install -e dot. So that's what we're going to be doing now. So to make sure I have the right file here. Okay. Let's go back. Where is it? Pipeline template. Lower this. So pip install stacker, so that's correct. After that, I need to install my blueprint, because if I want to make my blueprint available for Stacker, I need to install it using pip. The same thing that we did for our rule for CFNAG, we had to install the gem. So here's the same thing, we need to install the class. So the class is available. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a variable for the stack blueprints. Here. So I have a Stacker blueprint, custom blueprints. This is my folder. And then I'm going to cd into it. Not the whole thing though. Just this. Okay, Stacker blueprints. Next, I'm going to do a pip install locally here in this folder. And after that, I'm just going to go back one level so I don't mess up this part. And for this part, I don't believe anything is going to change. I think it's all the same. Yep, it's pretty much the same. Nothing changes. Only change here is that we're making our blueprints class available to Stacker. Cool. I think that's okay. That's fine. What else? And then definition of done. Okay, so I think that was the last thing. And then now we can. Yep, so it should be inside. Yeah, that's fine. All right, now we can deploy everything. And because did I change anything here? I did. Let's make sure I save this. And because I actually changed my pipeline template, I need to update the stack. So let's try to do that now. So pipeline templates, I need to go into pipeline and run an update. Of course, this showed up here. CloudFormation update, blah, blah, blah. Target account, so I have a target account at the top. Cool. And that's my account. All right, let's see. Okay, so this is running. If I go back to my pipeline, so what we should see in CodeBuild is the new build spec. So if I go back to project builds or build projects, aim for deploy, build details. Yep, it's right there. It was pretty quick. So we see our pip install for our blueprints, for our blueprint. Okay, so that's done. Next thing is, because we changed all these files, again, we need to generate deployment.zip. So let's do that again. Make sure I delete this. I think I still have the command somewhere. Yep, right here. So just let's double check Stacker templates, custom roles, and Stacker blueprints. Okay. Generate that, and let's upload to S3. Upload it to S3. Coming back to the pipeline, it's already running. Let's just wait for this to go through all the process and see if it works. Okay, we're finally at the deploy stage. I'm just too curious. I need to open this and see the logs. All right. Creating new stack. Okay. Yeah, I was actually wondering why it's creating a new stack, but before we had VPC-SG, that was a separate stack, but now we have a VPC stack and an SG stack. Awesome, looks like our VPC stack has been created successfully. Now it's just creating the security group one, the SG stack. Perfect. So SG was also created successfully. Awesome. Let's see. Now the final step is going to be to go to my target account. Let me open CloudFormation here. And so this is the build account. Let's go to the target account. And there you go. Now you see that I have team1 dash something because I changed the namespace in my stacker-config.yaml. And the final test, let me see the definition of done. So both stacks should be create complete, which was the case. And then our VPC should have all of these subnets. So we should have 16 subnets of /20. Let's double check that. So services, VPC, your VPCs, that's the one. Awesome. Let me filter by that. We go to subnets, and there we go. We have all 16 subnets, all of them using. So the subnet mask is /20, which means that our Python script was successfully able to determine the subnet mask based on the network address and number of hosts. And here we see we have these IP addresses available. And what else? And this is just a couple of information like the subnet name, etc. So I think we're done with the challenge. That was it was a fun one for me to do it. I hope it was a fun one for you to do it as well. And this is just the first dojo of many that I'm going to be posting on in my channel. And if you like this style of learning, right, through going through an actual exercise and get your hands on the technology, deploying things yourself, seeing things failing, etc., then yeah, just please subscribe and hit the notification button so you're notified whenever there's a new dojo available. And I'm actually just finishing up the next dojo, which is gonna be coming up in a few weeks. So stay tuned. I'm gonna post a video soon announcing the new dojo, and you're gonna have the opportunity to do live, which is where I provide infrastructure to everyone. So if you don't have an access to an AWS account or access to certain infrastructure, come to the event, which is live. I'm going to be providing everything, and you're going to have the opportunity to solve this challenge in a team fashion, right? So you're going to team up with other people all around the world, and I'm sure you're going to have a fun time. So thank you very much for sticking around until the end. I really appreciate it. Take care, and I'll see you soon.